Hello, welcome to Deadly D8 stream. I am your host, James Beck. It has been a very hot minute since the last time I was live here on the channel, but it is okay because we're getting back into schedule. We're gonna start doing more live streams. I didn't do one last week because I was over on Dustin Knight's Kitsune Warlock's stream doing an interview for one of my Pathfinder Infinite products. But we're here. We have a lot to talk about. I am absolutely excited. I hope everybody's been having a great day, morning, evening, wherever you are in the world. We're just going to kick us off with a few announcements, the typical rundown. First off, I want to just thank our sponsors for today's stream, World Anvil. If you don't know what World Anvil is, it's an online interactive tool that helps GMs maintain their campaigns through notes and a series of very helpful organization tools. You can use code dd8, once again that's dd8 at checkout to get 40% off a 12-month subscription, which I absolutely keep saying is a steal in terms of the amount of content you're gonna get with that. On top of that, you might also notice there's a little bar on the bottom over here. If you contribute to this to the fund, we get to do a animated video that was not on the schedule. It was not planned. It was not worked on. We didn't have it at all in the ready to go in the chamber. But once we hit this mark, you guys will get a perfect animated video. Got to keep in theme with the whole Deadly D8 scene. So yeah, I am super happy to be back. I want to just establish a few quick ground rules for what I will and won't cover today. First off, I'm not going to talk about Sinclair's library. I know that's what I work on. I understand that's what most of my Twitter feed has been as of the last few days, but I'm not here to talk about that. I'm also not going to be talking about Cody from Taking 20 because I feel like that entire conversation has been talked about for way too long. I don't want to talk about any, negative things. So I figured let's start us off today with a very good news oriented, something that gets us all happy to think about, the State of the Union address. So, the State of the Union, as of right now, United Paizo Workers has gotten together with the White House. That is right. The union sent Alex over here, this amazing representative, to come and speak to them about, obviously, the Paizo Union and, unions in the TTRPG in general. And can I just say how amazing that is? The fact that we have gotten this far as a community, as a Pathfinder community as a whole, to now that we have representatives going to the White House, that is just absolutely incredible. And to further broaden my point here, we have video of this amazing moment. Now, I don't think I put up any music for this one, but I just want to highlight one moment. And it is coming up right about here. This is my face every time somebody says, "Can we talk about Pathfinder?" This is why we play Pathfinder. This is why I will always keep coming back to Pathfinder, because of the pure excitement and joy I get to see when the union reps get to talk about having the union, when you're physically sitting down and meeting with the United States president, the most powerful person in office in America. Just the energy right now coming from one person is exactly what we need all of the time. And so, with that being said, I did not also get to talk about an announcement they made, I think a week or two ago, of they're still going forward very strong in terms of negotiations. Obviously, they can't say anything as of right now, purely because of, I'm sure, a few legal requirements, but also in the sense that they probably want a little bit of disclosure with all their stuff. But the fact that the union is progressing is the overall point I want to make. And I just want to say, Alex, if you ever see this, thank you so much for doing this. I know it must have been like a ton of pressure to actually have to sit down and talk with the president, talk with the vice president, and all that stuff. But just, oh my God. I think this just proves that Pathfinder is still going strong when this is what we have. Like, we get to go to the, I say we as in the Pathfinder community. I'm not actually going to speak for Alex here, but I am always just blown away with this. And it's not even just Alex. Like, we had several unions. I mean, obviously, this is who we're going to focus on over here. The Chad energy from this side of the room is absolutely insane. Yeah, exactly. Like real life versions of Pathfinder Society with real Pathfinders. I still cannot believe that it even got to this point. Because this union was formed, what, a few months ago? Like 6? Getting to this point is absolutely ridiculous, but in a good sense. Like, in a very, very good way. And so this was the first thing I really wanted to talk about because, one, we support the union over at Deadly D8, and two, it's just overall very good news for all TTRPG related folks. I know there's a few other industries that are trying to get into the unionization business, and that's amazing. So the next thing I really wanted to talk about before we hop into the whole Osiris building characters, because trust me, I have a few ideas on how to build him, and I have been really looking forward to this moment of actually getting to sit down and talk about Osiris, because after all, I do his voice. I am the character, essentially. My name is plastered with Osiris. But one thing I really wanted to talk about was actually, I didn't get to speak on the 5e Abomination Vaults thing, and I just wanted to take like a few minutes to talk about that. I know this is probably overdue in the sense that I am coming into the topic way too late, but I also really, really wanted to give my personal thoughts on it as somebody who is working on 5e stuff right now and also still writes for second edition. I think we're looking at an absolute win here in terms of the Pathfinder community. So we already have Abomination Vaults. Like, we have it in our hands. I can go play Abomination Vaults right now if I really, really wanted to. But having a broader exposure gives stuff like the Union also an absolute win. After all, this is still a corporate world. This is still a corporate-based game. You need to start making like money one way or another. And so, in my personal opinion, it took me a little while to finally like understand why we got obviously the Abomination Vault in 5e. I'm in personal support of seeing this project. I'm probably going to also purchase it when it releases for the 5e side. One, also because the artwork. Have you guys seen the cover? I mean, it is truly incredible. Vault. Yeah. Okay. Anyways. So yes, I wanted to talk about overall, I'm very excited for it. I probably had my initial reservations, but overall, I think this is a very good win. I don't think this represents Paizo being in trouble at all. I don't think this represents Pathfinder dying as a community. I think overall our, energy is still extremely strong. And I absolutely looking forward to seeing other APs getting converted. And I think with that out of the way, let's talk some Deadly D8. So, wow, my mic just did a full 180 there. I'm sorry about that. So, up here we have Path Builder. If you don't know what Path Builder is, it is a great program to get new players into 2E. It's very streamlined. I like it a lot. Yeah, there we go. Got the music going. And so, already in chat, I see somebody saying, "What are we building? Fighter with a druid archetype, battle form, abuse, Pathfinder 2E, exploit?" No, actually. So, if you don't know who Osiris is the character I voice for Deadly D8. Anytime I do an animated video, that character is Osiris. Now, Osiris started to establish a lore to the Deadly D8 universe, the dd8 verse. I don't know what we're gonna call it. The pierogi verse is my personal favorite, but Osiris is a interesting character that we can tackle because he's been in 2 videos so far. Currently, 3rd is in production, but we have seen him not only with himself and we have seen him with Obscura in the sniping duo archetype video. All of this here, obviously, on the channel. So I have Path Builder up. We're gonna take this up to level 10 because that's where I believe his actual character's level's at. Because we've seen him in canon demonstrate 5th level spells such as Spirit Blast against a dragon. So not only this will be a how-to guide for Pathfinder characters, I think we're going to see really how I approach building characters, because a lot of the times it will be me like, ooh, look at that, pop it. And, like, okay, I like that. And then, going random background because I'm crazy instead of actually thinking it out. But for Osiris as a character, we need him to have strong energy vibes. He needs to have a high charisma. His goal here will be more in the sense that he's a caster. He needs to have the Wellspring Mage archetype. And he overall kind of needs a bit of a chaotic energy. After all, he doesn't have a great armor class, as I actively make sure in the scripts Osiris gets hit by bullets, by dragons, bullets. I've been yelled at this before. And overall, his energy just needs to radiate chaos. So I'm going to go with human for the starting here, because of I need this to be a good base. I've thought about potentially going into other ones, like because of his tattoos, I could probably get away with saying he's an android. But I honestly think established in the pierogi-verse, yep, this is what we're just going to call it all stream, the pierogi-verse, human is a great start for him. So the issue with being in black and white is obviously you can't tell ancestry pretty well. But in my head canon, we're going to jump ship a little bit to heritage first. He is an Oread. Osiris originally was based off of the Goliaths from 3rd edition, Dungeons and Dragons, and obviously those don't really exist in Pathfinder. Like, there's no like official ancestry for them yet. So I've always felt that the Oread was the closest we were ever going to get to it. But the more I think about it, we need him to be slightly chaotic. I feel like the Gonzi is a perfect representation of what pure chaos is. It's for those who don't know what the Gonzi is. Gonzis are, I believe, descendants of Proteans. They're all about just establishing the opposite of law, which is chaos. So them and the Aphorites are constantly at war, essentially. So we have all that. Let's take a look at Osiris's background. So Osiris, when we introduced him, he's on a quest, right? He is actively trying to find MacArthur. He stole a pierogi to get his power, like I believe everybody should do. If you're not actively making deals with Eldritch gods to get more and more power via pierogi, I don't know what exactly to tell you. So, looking at all of these backgrounds, I feel like the best one for him is going to be a hunter. After all, hunter, here we go. We are looking for MacArthur. He is essentially the crux of the character. And I like the idea, and kind of writing the character was tying him over to an overall Deadly D8 storyline. So in my personal headcanon, and I cannot confirm whether or not this is true or not, but all of the characters that we have ever seen in a Deadly D8 video has all been connected one way or another via this Eldritch deity that we all apparently steal pierogi from or make a deal with. In Osiris's case, he stole it, and now he's cursed. So another thing I also brought up was I needed reference. And so I am going to, we're not going to watch it, but we're going to study some of his abilities that he can do. So obviously, we need somewhat of a matrix dive at some point. And we also need the ability to get back up. Because after this, Osiris just gets wrecked. I mean, scrolling through the video, he does not. I think that's actually the last frame that he looks really, really, really hurt in. But he, like I said, he is not having a good day. Like, he needs to actively run out of the fight because of how much he's getting hurt. And so I think we're going to eventually need to take toughness just because of his overall style. So here's the important part, class. Now, I asked chat, what is more chaotic than an oracle? Because we need to fill a few requirements right now. We need to fill the Wellspring Mage archetype, so we need a spontaneous caster. That leaves a sorcerer, bard, and oracle. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong here. But I believe that Osiris works best as an oracle. I don't know if... Actually, hold on. Let's look at character options. Okay, so I didn't remember to allow class archetypes, which probably should have been important to put at the beginning of it. Anyways, so we now have the class archetype system up, but we need to start thinking about his ability scores. So, demonstrating what we've seen so far of Osiris, he can clearly piss off Eldritch deities, as such here. And so I feel like we're in need one of our boosts to be dexterity, and he is good at making friends, such as this nerd who I still work with to this day. And so the other one we're going to have to do is charisma. Charisma. That's right, folks. Only here on Deadly D8 can you put your 2 ability ancestry boosts into charisma. Okay, so Eldritch, so Summoner in this case, yes, is a spontaneous caster that can cast Divine. The issue with Summoner is that you cannot take the Wellspring Mage archetype. After all, Wellspring Mage requires you to be a full caster and not just a half caster or bounded caster, as Summoner actually is. So the way I like to do backgrounds in this case is what reflects the actual background and what is not the best for stats. So obviously we are looking for MacArthur. So I say wisdom is probably a smarter decision to go here. We need to be able to have points in survival. We need to eat the pierogi, all that good stuff. And we need to take a hit. And I feel like as Osiris was wandering through the jungles, wherever he was at, his constitution just needed to start go up. As you know, you face the oh god, I'm sorry, I have something to say here. But yeah, anyways, he had to survive all of that terribleness. So now we get to free ability boosts. I would say for the flaw to wisdom for angering eldritch beings. I think that's actually a wise decision. Like I said before, always piss off eldritch deities if it means you can make a witch deal with them. Or you get pierogi and get sent on to find a MacArthur. So for ability scores, this is where I kind of recommend the min-maxing to start coming in. And I say min-maxing in a sense that I don't have a better word besides optimizing. So in this case, he needs to take a hit. We're going to throw into charisma. Sorry, constitution. God. Obviously, we're going to need some charisma. Osiris, probably not the most intelligent character. So we're going to throw it into dex and strength. Because we still need to be able to wield a staff. In this case, though, we're going to use the optional flaws variant. And we are going to take a penalty to our intelligence and to our wisdom here to get an extra boost into charisma. Legal ancestry boosts, of course, because, you know, I remember all that. We're going to take a point into constitution because I still need to survive things. Let's just break Pathfinder tonight. I feel like that's what we need. So, obviously, the first thing I'm going to start thinking about, what is he good at? And I think for Osiris, we need to be able to steal things. So, throwing trained into thievery is a good decision here. We're already trained in survival, so now we can find him. But we need to start engaging with the societies that we're in. And having trained in society is probably a very good decision. We also need to talk to people, so having a boost into diplomacy will be overall helpful. Now, granted, this is why I think Pathfinder does a great job with all 6 of their ability scores here, is because of the fact that I just reduced my intelligence. Effectively, I can't get trained in any more of these skills, and that sucks. That is all I have to say. It just sucks. And the other thing I chose here is the Wellspring Magic archetype. So this was the first video I ever did, was Wellspring Mage. It was overall really fun, but I think I've definitely started to improve over time. So we have chosen the Wellspring Mage archetype, and now we need an Ancestry feat. Obviously, we don't have wings. That is sad. But looking at Osiris's art, this very clear one from the side, I unfortunately do not have wings. However, I feel like we should now write that into the character. I think, personally, Irrepressible is the perfect decision for Osiris. He needs to start overcoming some emotion effects. I think this is overall a good reflection of him. I could go Gonzi Gaze and get that low light vision, but you know, sometimes it's not all about taking the best one. Yeah, that's an ethnicity requirement. I'm just not even gonna take that. So let's take Irrepressible. And now we need a mystery. I am thinking battle. We need to be able to carry ourselves, because canonically we have obviously the staff over here, but at the end we get an unexpected gift from a friend. Oh yeah, I forgot. So as we kind of start progressing here, I get to keep this gun. And who knows, hint for another Deadly D8 video of some unexpected uses out of this gun. Who would, I don't know what archetype would that be, but, I don't know, it could be somewhat of a sharpshooting question. So we have taken battle. This will give us this great thing with trained in all martial weapons. That means we can use this gun. We can use the staff. We can use anything we want. And we start getting cursed. And one of the things I wanted to reflect was he got cursed because of stealing from the Eldritch deity. Because apparently that has consequences, whatever that means. And we're going to take specific mastery in polearms. So now that we have our battle, we need to now take... we're going to go with Zeal. I feel like he would have Weapon Surge. And this is why I like Pathfinder so much. We're done with level 1 already. And now we need to go to level 2. So with level 2, we're now starting to access some stuff. And I get this criticism a lot. And I understand why people say this, but a lot of people don't like skill feats. And I've always been one for skill feats. Okay. So clearly Builder has started to add third-party content, which is really, really cool. I forgot that Battle Zoo Bestiary and Battle Zoo Dragons is in this. I think for Osiris in particular, having Bon Mott would be great. He is still very quippy. He is going to make all the references to confuse his enemies. I really think this is a smart decision to go with here. I like skill feats that actively require not only a check, but then also start penalizing people for, perception and will saves. That isn't skill-based. Not skill-based, spell-based. So things like Demoralize be a great example of this, because this won't add to your multiple attack penalty. It's a great opener. And we also need a class feat for level 2. I think we are going to go... But Flintlock Musket's a simple weapon? Okay. Even better, we could still probably use that. We are just going to... it's just uncommon. Well, here's the thing. I'm the GM. So if something's uncommon, I can just give it to myself, in this case. Or I can beg Eli to let me. So for Osiris's second level, I think we're going to go with Glean Lore. One of the things I really like about Oracle is it walks this fun line between having the curse mechanics, but then also really leaning into the lore of oracles from Greek mythology. And if you don't know, the oracles from Greek mythology is all about seeing the future, knowing a bunch of information, overall being the nerds of the group. And I think we are going to need some lore to find MacArthur, but also to understand the curses that were placed upon us. And just like that, level 2 is already over. We can move on to level 3 here. Now, the interesting thing is, I'm not doing free archetype with this character. I think, canonically, if I would have to choose one, he would probably be a medic, if not a multi-class into druid. I don't see Osiris being as melee focused as we've kind of depicted him, especially in the last video, because in the sniping duo archetype, when I was writing it, I really wanted to show off the martial capabilities of it all. And with the character Obscura being obviously the sniper in this case, having really a spell show off is a little bit more difficult. However, still completely possible because we still are a battle mage. So at level 3, we get a fun little boost here. I think we should definitely go into thievery, because stealing Eldritch beings stuff is funny. So now that we have our general feat, we gotta take toughness. I'm sorry, but I like not dying. And we also get signature spells. Nice. We will deal with spells in a minute. But I mean, our armor class isn't great, of course. There are already some pretty big flaws with this character, but with some pretty good buffs too. Like, we have not a lot of skills here. And thus, I think Pathfinder walks this fun balance, like I said earlier, with the 6 ability scores, and I think this is why it reflects. There are some obvious negatives to this character. However, hitting things with staff because I'm cursed is absolutely great. Moving on to level 4. Oh, I forgot to say it, 4. But, we're starting to pick up on some more skill feats, and I think the one that I personally want to take is terrain expertise. So something that we are seeing with Osiris in his journey is traveling between different terrains, different biomes. And so first we saw him in the frozen snow when I wanted to reflect a fun fight with a white dragon, because nothing sells Pathfinder or Dungeons and Dragons quite like a dragon would. Oh, I forgot to put the overlay on. So we are having the aquatic arctic, or sorry here. I'm going to put up the nice little alert box here. I am so sorry to everybody who just subscribed, but thank you so much for doing so. We love you over here. And yeah, just thank you so very much. So we have seen him in the Arctic. We now see him in more of a forestry terrain, and I will give some extras, potential spoilers for the third Osiris arc here. But we're gonna go into the desert for some unexpected action. I don't know what that would be, but you know, just some unexpected uses out of a gun. So yeah, we're gonna take terrain expertise, and we're gonna choose Arctic. But we could take this feat more than once, choosing a different terrain each time. And I think we should come back to this, because Osiris's journey is far from over. We are going to start seeing him move into different terrains, different areas, the closer and closer we get to MacArthur. And we do get, and I want to admit this, canonically closer every time. I actually know where MacArthur is? That's for me to know. But for our class feat over here, Bespell Weapon is fun. I don't see him ever using it, though. I mean, I think he's going to start wanting to use Vision of Weakness, which is a very fun revelation spell. And for those who don't know anything about oracles, or are just tuning in and don't know that Osiris is an oracle, basically if you cast revelation spells, or anything with the revelation trait. Oh, my camera just did a weird, still doing a weird. If you cast anything with the revelation trait, you automatically progress your curse. And so what I mean by that is we chose the battle mystery. And whenever I use my call to arms revelation spell, I am automatically going to take the penalties of the minor curse. Now, minor curses typically don't have an upside, but this one kind of does. This is going to give you a penalty to your AC and saving throws, but each time you make a strike, you can suspend these penalties until the start of your next turn. I'm a battle-based oracle. This makes sense. I am going to actively hit things often enough to negate this, but if I cast Visions of Weakness, I can automatically reduce my minus curse to -1 rather than spending it, but then I also get a bonus to healing and fast healing. If you don't know how great fast healing is, you can't die while you have fast healing up. Curse bound trait. Thank you, Eldritch, for that. And so my thing with oracles, every time I've played an oracle, it has always kind of been with the thought of, how can I keep pushing this curse, but never getting overwhelmed? And with that, I've found that starting each day with getting the minor curse up is the smart thing to do, and then just begging my party to refocus. You can ask Tommy from Black Dragon Gaming how often I ask to push my curses, and because I'm a little crazy, I will often stay in the range of my highest curse. So I will chill with moderate for a while. Now, granted, if I casted that Call to Arms spell or Visions of Weakness again, I become overwhelmed, and that sucks. Do I remember what Overwhelm does? No, but that's what Archives is for. Before you judge me, yes, I have it on a light mode, but that is purely because of my vision needing help. So we are going to take a look at, Oracle details. I wanted to show a very inside look onto how I build my character, and Archives of Nethys is by far the greatest help in this case. While overwhelmed, you can't cast or sustain any revelation spells. You effectively lose access to those spells. That sucks. You can still refocus to reduce the effects of your curse and regain a focus point, but doing so doesn't allow you to cast any further revelation spells. These effects last until you rest for 8 hours and make your daily preparations, at which point a curse returns to its basic state. That's pretty fun of a mechanic, in my opinion. Having it that you can still refocus, but never using a revelation spell, makes for interesting multi-classes. Meaning you can essentially walk this fun balancing act between, let's say you multi-class cleric, or in Osiris' case would probably be druid. You would have to make sure that, let's say you're casting animal form via your wild shape, you can start to, I guess it just requires more management, but like a fun kind of management. You can with fast healing. You can't die with regeneration. Fast healing just gets you up very quickly, but your wounded still goes up, and you can still insta-kill when high enough. It's a double edge. Well, that is a double edge I'm willing to take. So I also wanted, while I'm over here, let my ADHD run crazy, and check out what my Wellspring Mage archetype is going to get me. So we have this dedication here, and we need to pick up Wellspring Control, or really kind of start leaning into this, because this table right here. For those who are not familiar, check out the video. If you are a Wellspring Mage, you have to roll on this table every time you roll initiative. And it can get pretty weird. I have seen stuff like Sudden Downpour just activate. And you have to, essentially does nothing. But I also demonstrate in the actual video here, Energy Unleashed Raw energy deals 2d6 damage per spell level of the surge, basic reflex save, and a 10-foot burst. So he still needs to roll on this table every time. And it's not... You kind of get a weird choice. And so I kind of want to start leaning into Wellspring Mage just a little bit. I'm glad they got rid of the part of the playtest where all focus spells you gained become cursebound. Okay, so that was cool. One thing I actually did like that they got rid of that I know not a lot of people did was if you become overwhelmed, you instantly pass out. I thought that was a fun mechanic because that kind of incentivized you to not really push your curse, but if you did, it was for a great benefit. And I like stuff where it's risky. Hence why I play Oracle. Hence why we're going to go with the Wellspring Mage here. And I wish that still stayed there. Could I homebrew it back in? Of course. Am I going to? Let's see what my GMs say before I do so. Now that we've kind of conquered 4th level, we can move on to level 5. We had a skill increase, so we can't go mastering thievery, which sucks. But we can start making friends with people with diplomacy. Because after all, we gotta interact with this person, I don't know, this nerd named Obscura, I guess. We get to train with him, and I believe in the original video, in the script here, I wanted the Make a Man Out of You song to be playing here, but turns out copyright is annoying. Hence, this triangulation. I will actively take this over my original script. When I saw this video for the first time, I was not ready for it. And having it pop up got like a literal visceral reaction for me as I just couldn't stop laughing. And we now also get ability boost. Thank God. I feel like we maxed out our con. We really don't need to go to a +4. We could. But some of these other stats are lacking. And I feel like we need to start leaning into our matrix dodges just slightly enough. And let's put some points into strength so we can hit stuff. Let's put points into intelligence. Disney, I'll make a band out of you. Yeah, that's kind of what it felt like. And we are going to put the last one into charisma as we still do need it. And because we got some points into intelligence, we got to get trained in another stat. I feel like we need to start putting some points into performance. No, wait, stealth. Let's sneak past our Eldritch beings without getting caught. Did it let me switch? No? There we go. And we got an ancestry feat. We need more crazy. I feel like we're not insane enough in terms of our abilities. And I've thought about doing Fey Influence, but it doesn't really fit the overall theme. I could go Sense Allies, but the issue is Osiris, in my headcanon, kind of is a loner in the sense that he's often traveling by himself. And so I feel like Sense Allies wouldn't work well, but I do think Clever Improviser will. And here's what the nice thing about taking Clever Improviser. These stats immediately start going up with skills. So we can start making up for stuff that we're lacking in. And now we get to the fun level 6. With level 6, like I said, I'm gonna try to start going into the archetype a little bit more. I need the Wellspring Mage dedication. So we're no longer going to be locked in how many spell slots we get with Wellspring Magic, which is great because of how desperately we need those spell slots. Because with Wellspring Mage, you are going to uh, start. You start with less spell slots per day, but you get them. Will Osiris be a loner in a certain element ec? If I could get Osiris to be in the Codex as a loner character, I will immediately resign from the project as my life will be fully satisfied. Will that happen? Probably not. But maybe in the future. It will. We probably should start taking some stuff into athletics at some point. But I'm going to take Terrain Stalker again. Nope, this is not what I wanted. I want the other terrain one. Where did that go? I am blind. Nope. Alright, we're just gonna go Terrain Stalker here. We are still going. So for this one, we're gonna take Underbrush as in canon. I keep referencing this one video, but that's okay. He actively will hide in the bushes. Like so. And with Terrain Stalker, we get to choose. I really like this UI, in my personal opinion. I like how just so simple all this is. In a matter of just a few clicks, we're automatically ticking a lot of the boxes I wanted to cover with. And obviously, we could do this in Foundry, a drag and drop everything. Oh, yeah, we're at level 7. I'm a genius. I think for what we're trying to do, we need Osiris to start getting a little bit better in society, as asking around for help for MacArthur is something he does at least twice in this video. As here, oh yeah, here's the final shot that I was looking for earlier, and obviously we need to start asking. We need to start finding out who knows who. And I feel like going society in this case was the smart decision. Now, we also need a general feat. I think Pathfinder right now kind of suffers from not having enough general feats, but I still think that for Osiris, Diehard's a good choice, but I think he needs fast recovery. Now, fast recovery hasn't been, I don't see this getting used that often, because a lot of GMs will go, oh, you have battle medicine, you have clerics, you can heal it all up. But Osiris here, he's on his own. If I cast spells, I can get cursed. If I do natural healing, I'm not going to be the best at it because I haven't taken any of the medicine. And so recovering is going to be a main point for this character here. With our level 8, skill feat, we could go Terrain Stalker. But I think that we are actually going to go with Streetwise over here. I'm just double checking to see. Oh, wait, hold on. Even better, Forager. So we live on our own. We are a loader, a lone wolf. And having the ability to survive will be helpful. And the fun part is we can start now dipping more into Wellspring Mage. And I think the perfect one is Spell Relay. So Pathfinder has this fun mechanic of working with not only yourself, obviously, but with your allies. And I really like the way Spell Relay works, but I think we're overall going to go with Urgent Upwelling, because when an enemy reduces you to 0 hit points, an enemy critically hits you, or you critically fail a saving throw against an enemy's effect. Oh, that was a lot of words in a row. We essentially start wellspringing all over the place. We can make the enemy actually undergo a wellspring surge. And with that, I want to bring up this reference photo here. Come here, you. Yes. Yes, game. Here we go, video. So this is the original one. I pulled it up. And with that, Osiris getting hurt, we ended up reflecting a lot of stuff back on him. So we're fighting a dragon in this moment here, and he is going to start taking some stuff, and instead of casting, like doing a normal attack, he's going to start suffering from this fun little penalty over here for essentially rolling an 18 because of urgent upwelling. You can start playing around with this fun little mechanic of forcing your enemies to start going through your wellspring. I think this is overall a very smart decision here, but we also need points in nature, or else we might not live. As we just finished up level 8, wait, nope, that's the wrong level, level 9, here we go. We need another ancestry feat. I love the fact that this is so customizable. We could go natural ambition, because human. What is glory and valor? Once per day, you are descended from an Ahiri, the warriors of chaos. You call upon the ascendant blood with a mighty cry that fills you up with revitalizing energy for 1 minute, or until you critically fail a strike, whichever comes first. Potentially. For the first time each round, you successfully make a strike of a creature at level you're higher. You regain hit points. Oh yes, we want that. This is important, as living is apparently important for characters. I don't know, I'm a GM. I just throw big monsters at them. And obviously a demonstration of why we kind of need this is the fact that where did we get it? Bullets show up. Here we go. So there's about 4 or 5 bullets. I think that's an overall reasonable encounter. And now we get to play with the god part of this character, as once you hit level 10, effectively in Pathfinder, you become a deity. Is that true? No. But your power level will be a lot higher than, I would say, comparative to other systems, such as like 20 or 3.5. We are going to start throwing some points back into strength. We're going to put into dexterity, but that's because of video number 3 for Osiris, which requires me to start doing some fun little experimentation, I guess, with a certain item I might have on my character. Not even close. I think that's overall balanced. You should always unbalance your encounters at all times. Remember, folks, killing characters is a point of pride, and always be happy of it. That's not true. Don't actually do it. For legal reasons, I am joking here. Do not kill players' characters. They will get mad at you. Still, half of monsters can auto crit. Yeah, well, you know, such is life. I think we've balanced him out so pretty well. And I want to just make a quick note. When we were at level 1, all our overall skills and ability scores were fairly low. Like, we took the optional variant to start lowering some of these other ones. I'm really feeling by level 10 we have evened it out. And I want to take Quickened Casting as our final spell. Yeah, who needs revelations when you can cast a spell faster than anyone else? And for our last, but certainly not least, Experienced Smuggler. We need, if I could not stress it enough, compared to, let's say, MacArthur, who made a deal to get, obviously, his Pierogia power, we stole ours. And I feel like Experienced Smuggler is quite literally the best at stealing things from deities or Eldritch beings. Once per day? I know it's still once per day, but even that once per day, you can do a lot with. And yeah, I think this is Osiris. He looks pretty cool. In terms of his spells, what are we rocking with here? We already got Expert Proficiency in Divine. We can choose. Yeah, we can go through. I feel like for his spells, we'll do this after the break. We'll wrap it up with spell casting, and overall wrap up today's stream. Yeah, here we go. And with that, I will see you guys on the other side of the screen as I take a quick break, and I will see you very soon. Can OBS be nice with me? That is the true question. Well, we'll find out in a minute. See ya.
Hello, my name is Osiris. One night I stole a pierogi from an eldritch being, and now I've been searching to find this mysterious MacArthur. You're listening to Deadly D8. After my encounter with the Eldritch being, I have been tasked to find MacArthur and give him the legendary pierogi of power. I decided to make my way to a bit of a warmer region after that fight with the dragon. It was on this journey that I encountered a strange man known as Obscura.
Hello! You seem like a big fellow.
Whoa, I just met you. You look like a well-traveled adventurer, though. Do you know who MacArthur is?
I've heard of him. I think he's not too far from here, actually. If you don't mind traveling with me and helping out with a job or two, I'll show you where to find him.
We have ourselves a deal. We trained for 3 days, learning how to use Obscura's sniping abilities to set up deadly attacks. The sniping duo archetype is the first in a series of unique archetypes requiring 2 PCs to make it work. The unique thing about this archetype is that only one player needs to take the dedication and feats for both players to gain the benefits.
To take this archetype, you need to be trained in at least one type of weapon in the bow or firearms group and trained in stealth. You choose one person to be your spotter. In this case, I chose Osiris. Whenever you or your spotter successfully strikes a target, the other member gains a +1 circumstance bonus per weapon damage die on the damage roll of their next strike made against the target before the end of their next turn.
We start to make our journey into a nearby forest where we are hired to take care of a bullet problem. Apparently, they've been disturbing local farmers from harvesting their crops. We have managed to track their path of destruction to their nest. Hey, do you feel that? Wait, I think I know what that sound means. Run for cover! Right on cue, a pack of hungry bullets arrive.
This leads us right into the first awesome feat from the sniping duo archetype, Triangulate.
Triangulation, that's how I figured it out. Triangulation, now I never go down. The only geometric process using data I present. That could pinpoint the conclusion of my scientific quest.
Triangulate. As long as both you and your spotter can see the target of your attacks, you don't take a penalty for attacking within your weapon's second range increment. The penalty you take for firing into further range increments is -3 for the third increment, with an additional -2 penalty for each additional increment beyond the third. The first bullet leaps at me and I manage to narrowly dodge the attack. I pull back my staff and strike. Critical success! Looks like I triggered the exploit opening reaction. Exploit opening. Trigger. Your spotter critically succeeds at a strike against a creature, and that creature is within your ranged weapon's first range increment. Make a ranged strike with a -2 penalty against the target of the triggering attack. This strike doesn't count towards your multiple attack penalty, and your multiple attack penalty doesn't apply to this strike. Obscura manages to distract that bullet for a bit.
Osiris, I see an opening. Get ready to hit.
Oh, I know what that means. Obscura is going to use the targeted redirection action. If your next action is to make a ranged strike, you treat your spotter's position as your own for the purposes of determining cover and range. Your spotter must be within your weapon's first range increment, and they must use a reaction to redirect your shot. Obscura fires his arquebus and I swing as fast as I can, causing the shot to strike an adjacent bullet. One of the bullets jump high into the air and slams 2 claws into me. Ow!
No worries. I use the duel's aim action.
Make a ranged weapon strike against a foe either within your spotter's melee reach or the first range increment of a ranged weapon your spotter is wielding. On this strike, you gain a +2 circumstance bonus to the attack roll and ignore the target's concealment.
This works perfectly for the vantage shot feat.
When you successfully make a ranged strike against a foe, your spotter can use a reaction to attempt a stealth check against the foe's perception DC. On a success, the foe is flat-footed against the spotter's next attack before the end of your spotter's next turn. I use my expertise in stealth to slip past the bullet's perception so the foe is flat-footed against my next attack, which I miss.
That sucks, but don't stress, Osiris. I have the tag team reaction.
Tag team. Trigger. You or your spotter misses with a strike against a creature, and the creature is within the other's melee reach or first range increment. If you use tag team after your spotter missed the triggering strike, make a ranged strike against the same target with a -2 penalty. If you use this reaction after you miss the triggering strike, your spotter can use their reaction to make a melee or a ranged strike against the same target. Strikes granted by this feat don't count towards your or your spotter's multiple attack penalty, and your or your spotter's multiple attack penalty doesn't apply to the granted strike. The bullets get smart and flank me. Good thing Obscura has the Eagle Eyes feat. As long as you can see or hear each other, neither of you is flat-footed to hidden, undetected, or flanking creatures of your level or lower. The bullets start to really hurt with their claws and jaws.
Osiris, time to use concentrated assault.
Concentrated assault. If you and your spotter both use the ready activity to make a strike against the same opponent and choose the same trigger for the readied action, resolve your attacks at the same time. Each of you can use the higher of the 2 attack rolls for your strikes, each using your own modifier. We manage to hit them pretty hard, and they decide to run away. I think they know not to mess with us anymore. So Obscura, where's MacArthur?
Well, it was nice working with you. I heard he's in the deserts west from here. I'm not sure where exactly, but it's a great place to start looking.
Thanks, Obscura. I hope you find another partner to serve you well. Oh wait, do you want this rifle back?
Nah, keep it. Maybe you can get some unexpected uses out of it.
So I start my trek west to find MacArthur. If you enjoy working with another player at the table, complement each other's skills, and make great use of both range and precision, check it out. It's the Sniping Duo archetype.
And with that, I will forget that I mute myself in between the break. Now that we've gotten a bit of a glimpse at Osiris, I want to once again remind everybody about our incredible sponsors, World Anvil. If you didn't already use World Anvil already, I highly suggest you do. And I really mean it, because I was using World Anvil long before I was even part of the Deadly D8 YouTube channel. If you use code dd8 at checkout, you can get 40% off a 12-month subscription, and it is so good. I mean, the whiteboard feature alone makes me always want to come back to it, and it is absolutely a great product in terms of organization, because my ADHD will go absolutely nuts, and having it all centralized into one place and not scattered around my room is incredibly helpful. Now, let's dive back into Osiris, as we have plenty to talk about still with him. And with Osiris, we have to start with our cantrips. Obviously, as a wellspring, we're going to start with a little less cantrips. I don't know why our revelation cantrip automatically gives us shield. That is helpful. I like Divine Lance. I know not a lot of people get a ton of usage out of it because of the alignment requirement, but I still really, really like it. I think because we are a martial character, having guidance, which will give us a +1 bonus to our attack rolls, and basically anything with a d20, will be helpful. Yeah, whatever joke that was, Eldritch, I completely missed it, and I apologize. We are obviously going to need stabilize, because I feel like he needs it. I'm trying to think. Yeah, and then I think for our last one, detect magic is always going to be handy in any given situation. And now we get to start playing with actual spells. Remember, this is it's bound to your deity and not to your alignment. Is that true? I didn't know about that. That's actually kind of insane to me. I want to take Schadenfreude because I like it. I probably mispronounced it, and if you speak the correct language, I believe this would be German, but if I mispronounce Schadenfreude, then please let me know. But if not, then go me for not entirely butchering it. We're gonna take Schadenfreude because how badly we can get hit. And I also think having heal will give us some great utility in terms of not dying. And I think we still need one more spell that really says I fight. And I think Bane. I don't see Bane getting used as often as I see Bless, but Bane is such a fun spell. Having all your enemies just eat that -1 is honestly a lot of fun. I house rule that most effects that state deity's alignment can be yours if you don't get your power from a deity if you have one. Okay, I can see why you did that. I also understand why Paizo probably went the way they did with it. With our level 2 spells, we can start getting into a little bit weirder territory. So we still need to remember that we are a martial-based character, and I like Warrior's Regret. It actually looks pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. Regrets eat away at the target's mind, punishing its violence until it ceases its hostility. Interesting. I think we're gonna go with that one. I also saw where was Endure Elements. A lot of people, namely one person, I will not say their name, for the sake of confidentiality, believe that spell slot should be only for combat, and I think that is true for low-level casters. But since we're level 10, a second level spell slot won't break our character if we didn't take something such as Fear the Sun, which it will be actually really good against vampires. Holy shoot. I like that. But yeah, we're gonna take Endure Elements. And last but certainly not least, Charitable Urge. Because we get items from people, as demonstrated such through the Sniping Duo archetype. I forgot to select it. Charitable Urge, here we go. Apparently I can also not see well. Now that we hit level 3, Flame Curse might work here. I feel though we need Vampiric Touch because of a pure utility of actually getting temporary hit points would be cool. Then I think we should also go for a utility-based spell. I am thinking... Hey, look at that, Locate. It's uncommon. That's okay, because I'm the GM here. We could just give ourselves this. This is going to learn the direction of a target, or the nearest target, if you chose an object such as swords. So, in headcanon, Osiris casted this, and that's how we got our little pierogi of power that actually just granted us power, and he will cast it again to find MacArthur. And last but certainly not least, Heroism. Because having for 10 minutes the ability to Vampiric Touch also insta-slays on 0, which is nice. Cool. Just getting an overall bonus to combat will be helpful. In terms of our next spells, for 4th level, I like Vampiric Maiden. I think it's overall a cool spell, but I don't think this will work well for him. I think if I had to choose, I think we're gonna go Divine Wrath for our first one. Follow that quickly up by utility, such as Freedom of Movement, because, once again, traveling. And for our last one, I think taking Holy Cascade, which I have personally cast in a few spells and a few times in campaigns, and I actually really enjoy it. Cool. And last but not least, we are going to wrap up our spells here. Breath of Life, always a fun utility one. I have never not gotten great use out of it. Where is the spell that we could do some summoning, but I don't think that's really... Oh yeah, Rip the Spirit, R.I.P. I think it feels a little too dark for him. But Bandit's Doom is cool. See, this is the fun part about playing spellcasters, but also the worst part is actually having to choose. What is Drop Dead? Oh, ooh, actually, I like Drop Dead. Yeah, we're gonna take that. Alright, we definitely got reactions, strong here. Healing Well's cool, but I don't see him using it. Blank Charge. It's more of a tracer ability. Obviously, we got our Toothy Maw here. I think for our last one, we are going to go with Tongues. as having utility is always a great option in my opinion. And with that, I believe the character Osiris is finished. I really enjoy him. He is going to come back. Don't worry. And I actually had a lot of fun doing this. I don't get to make characters that often. When I do, they normally get really weird. And grounding it in a actual sense of reality is pretty helpful. That begs the question, actually, do you insta-dead enemies at 0? I don't. For me, they have the same dying mechanics as player, unless their constructs are undead. I know a lot of people instead at 0, but I think gives the enemies the chance to come back if they don't make sure they're dead. I think this is purely situational. If I believe it's an important character, like a important NPC or villain, I will give them death saves. But if I know they're like a one-off goon, I really don't. Like, they could try their recovery checks, but I just don't see... I feel like it slows down games, because I also like running slightly bigger encounters with a ton of little guys running around the battlefield, and having to roll recovery checks for all of them just eats up at time, especially if I'm like doing a stream game, or I'm at a home game and, you know, we're against the clock. And so I thank you all for being here. I'm sorry that I couldn't make this any longer, but don't get me wrong, we are going to be back very, very soon with more Deadly D8 live. I cannot wait to see you, but once again, I would like to also remind you to check out World Anvil, the great interactive content that it can come with. It's generally a lot of fun. I have spent a ton of time just messing around with it. It's really a fun system, and if you have not checked it out, I really suggest you doing so. And if you use code dd8 at checkout, you can get 40% off a 12-month subscription, and I still think that is an absolute steal. If you are not subscribed to the channel, feel free to. We got tons of cool animated content coming very, very soon, and I have been your host, James. You can follow me at my socials, as you can see down there. And you can support us over on Patreon to get exclusive chats and also exclusive looks at content before it goes live. Check it out. And with that, I wish you all a farewell. Have a great day, night, evening, afternoon, whatever works for you. And I am... Oh, Gianna, you just showed up. dd8. Yeah. I will wish you all a farewell, and I will see you very, very soon. Have a good day. Bye. Just add...